Single parents, what's your best and or worst dating story? Dating as a single mom of twins? That wasn't part of my 5-year plan. Neither was finding my husband in bed with my sister when the girls were just 9 months old. Life just happens. For 3 years after the divorce, I focused entirely on my daughters and my photography business. Dating? That space in my brain had been converted to storage for dinosaur facts and the lyrics to every Disney song ever made. Then Martin walked into my studio needing professional headshots for his new therapy practice. Tall, salt and pepper beard, eyes that crinkled when he smiled. When he mentioned he specialized in childhood trauma, something inside me softened. "Your daughters are beautiful," he said, noticing their photo on my desk. No questions about where their father was or why I was alone. Just appreciation for what was in front of him. Our first date was coffee that turned into lunch that turned into walking through the park until sunset. He listened, really listened when I talked. No scrolling through his phone or scanning the room for someone more interesting. By our third date, he'd memorized my coffee order and brought picture books for the twins, even though he hadn't met them yet. "For when the time is right," he said, "no pressure." After 2 months, I finally introduced him to Lily and Emma. They were cautious at first. They'd never seen me with anyone but their father. Martin sat on the floor and let them approach at their own pace, never pushing for affection. By month 4, the girls would cheer when he came over. He'd bring ingredients for homemade pizzas and let them create monstrosities topped with gummy bears and chocolate chips. He never corrected them, never tried to discipline them. "That's your territory," he said. "I'm just here to support." That Mother's Day, he watched the girls so I could sleep in, then served breakfast in bed, slightly burned toast, proudly made by 4-year-old hands with Martin supervising from a safe distance. I started imagining a future with him. My daughters already had. Then came Emma's preschool recital. Emma forgot her lines halfway through, froze completely on stage. As tears welled in her eyes, I started to stand, but Martin beat me to it. He walked calmly to the edge of the stage and whispered something that made her giggle. She finished her part flawlessly. In the parking lot after, I couldn't stop thanking him. "You're incredible with them," I said. "They make it easy," he replied, helping buckle car seats. That's when I heard someone call his name. A woman approached, pushing a stroller with a baby about 1 year old. "Martin, oh my God, it is you." The color drained from his face. The woman reached us, smiling broadly. "I have been trying to reach you for weeks. Your mom told me you might be here." She looked at me, then at the twins. "Oh, sorry. Are you a client?" Martin stood frozen. The silence stretched painfully. "I'm Rachel," I finally said. "Martin's girlfriend." The woman's smile faltered. She looked at Martin, confusion washing over her face. "Girlfriend?" She laughed nervously. "That's interesting." She turned the stroller slightly, giving me a clear view of the baby. A little boy with Martin's eyes, Martin's dimples, Martin's entire face in miniature. "This is Caleb," she said pointedly. "Your son, the one you haven't seen since you walked out 4 months ago." My world collapsed in slow motion. 4 months ago? Right when we'd met? "Rachel, I can explain," Martin started. "Mommy, who's that baby?" Lily asked, tugging at my sleeve. I looked down at my daughter's innocent face, then back at the living proof of Martin's deception. The woman, I didn't even know her name, stood expectantly, anger and hurt radiating from her posture. "Girls, we need to go," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Right now." Martin grabbed my arm. "Please just give me 5 minutes." I yanked away from him. "Don't touch me. Don't call me. Don't come near my daughters again." The woman watched this exchange with a bitter smile. "I see you've experienced the Martin special. Charm, promises, then ghosting. At least you didn't have his baby first." As I buckled the confused twins into their car seats, Martin hovered by my driver's side door. "Move," I said. Keys clutched so tightly they cut into my palm. "It's not what you think," he pleaded. "Jessica and I were already broken up when?" I snapped. "When you decided to abandon your newborn. When you started dating me without mentioning you'd just become a father." The twins watched us through the window, wide-eyed. I lowered my voice. "I have 2 little girls watching how I handle this moment, Martin. And what I'm teaching them right now is that we don't keep people in our lives who lie about something this enormous." As I drove away, the rearview mirror showed Martin standing helplessly beside Jessica and baby Caleb. The twins peppered me with questions I couldn't answer. Why was that man holding a baby that looks like him? Why are you crying, Mommy? Is Martin coming over tonight? I pulled into our driveway on autopilot, fighting waves of nausea. For 3 years, I'd protected my daughters from their father's betrayal. I'd carefully vetted Martin before introducing him, trusting his professional background working with children. I'd watched him bond with my daughters, thinking, this is a good man. This is what they deserve. All while he had a baby son he'd abandoned. That night, after putting the girls to bed, I sat on my kitchen floor surrounded by Martin's text messages. 23 of them, ranging from defensive to apologetic to desperate. Jessica got pregnant after we broke up. I wasn't ready to be a father. I was going to tell you. Please, Rachel. I blocked his number. Then came the flowers, then the handwritten letters, then the showing up at my studio during business hours. You need to leave, I told him when he appeared in my doorway. I have clients coming. I just need you to understand, he insisted. Jessica trapped me. She said she was on birth control. I stared at him, bile rising in my throat. So you're saying because she trapped you, that makes it okay to abandon your infant son? To start dating me without mentioning you had a newborn? To bond with my daughters while ignoring your own child? He ran his hand through his hair in frustration. You don't understand. Jessica's unstable. She made my life hell. And Caleb? I countered. What did he do to deserve being abandoned by his father? I send money every month, he said defensively. I'm not completely absent. Does Caleb know that? I asked. Can he feel financial support? Does it comfort him when he's crying at 3 a.m.? Does it teach him how to throw a ball or read a book? You're being unfair, Martin said, lowering his voice as a client entered the waiting area. I made a mistake, yes, but what we had was real, Rachel. What I feel for your girls is real. And yet, I said, you managed to spend 4 months with us without once mentioning you had a son. I walked to the door and held it open. If you contact me or come near us again, I'll get a restraining order. You're a therapist. Think about what that would do to your practice. That night, I sat on the edge of the twins' beds, watching them sleep, their innocent faces, trusting that the adults in their world would protect them. How had I failed them so badly? How had I let someone into our carefully constructed life without seeing what was right in front of me? The next morning, I did something I never thought I'd do. I called my ex-husband. David answered on the 3rd ring. Rachel, is everything okay? Are the girls? They're fine, I cut in, physically anyway. I explained the situation in clinical terms, keeping my emotions tightly controlled. David listened without interrupting, which was new for him. Post-affair, post-divorce, David was apparently capable of basic courtesy. Jesus, he finally said. What a piece of work. The girls okay? Confused, asking for him? He was in their lives for 6 months. David was quiet for a moment. You want me to come over? Spend some extra time with them until this blows over. The offer stunned me. In the 3 years since our divorce, coordinating visitation had been like pulling teeth. Now he was volunteering for extra time. That would actually be helpful, I admitted. Later that week, David showed up with pizza and a new board game for family night. The girls were ecstatic. I was cautiously grateful. As they played, I retreated to the kitchen, giving them space. David joined me while the girls set up another round. You're good with them, I said. It wasn't something I'd acknowledged often. He shrugged, leaning against the counter. I'm trying to be better. Been seeing someone? A therapist? I mean, that's good, I said. Listen, Rachel, he shifted uncomfortably. What happened with Martin? That's messed up, but don't let it keep you closed off forever. You deserve someone who's not a complete dirtbag. The girls do too. Coming from the man who cheated on me with my sister, it was rich, but somehow not entirely unwelcome. 2 weeks later, Jessica, Martin's ex, Caleb's mother, showed up at my studio. I need to talk to you, she said. Caleb balanced on her hip. About Martin. My first instinct was to refuse, to protect myself from more drama. But something in her expression, exhaustion mingled with determination, made me reconsider. My last client leaves at 6, I said. Come back then. She arrived with Caleb in a stroller, asleep under a blue blanket. We sat in my small office, separated by more than just a desk. I'm sorry about how you found out, she began. That wasn't fair to you. None of this is fair to anyone, I replied, especially not to him. I gestured to Caleb. Jessica nodded, her eyes filling with tears. Martin told me about you and your daughters last week. He showed up wanting to see Caleb suddenly. First time since he was born? This surprised me. He did? Yeah. Said meeting you and your girls made him realize what he was throwing away. She laughed bitterly. Apparently, it took seeing someone else be a good parent to make him want to try. I didn't know what to say to that. We met in grad school, Jessica continued. The perfect couple. Both going into psychology, same goals, same values. Or so I thought. She looked down at her sleeping son. When I got pregnant, everything changed. He said he wasn't ready, that it would derail his career. When Caleb was born, he came to the hospital, held him once, and then just stopped coming around. I'm sorry, I said and meant it. The thing is, Jessica said, meeting my eyes, Martin's not a monster. He's just selfish, immature. When things get hard, he runs. Why are you telling me this? Because he's trying to get back into Caleb's life now, and I need to know. Did he ever mention having a son? Did he have pictures of Caleb? Did he ever seem like he was hiding something? The truth hit hard. No, never. She nodded like this confirmed something. I thought so. Look, I don't care about your relationship with him. That's your business. But I need to protect my son. If Martin's only interested in being a father because it makes him look good to you, we're not together anymore, I said firmly. And we won't be. Relief flooded her face. Good, because I think that's the only reason he suddenly wants to be in Caleb's life. As she gathered her things to leave, I hesitated, then asked the question that had been haunting me. How did you know to come find him at Emma's recital that day? Jessica smiled sadly. His mother. She's been keeping tabs on him, trying to maintain some connection to her grandson. When she learned he was dating someone with kids, playing happy family while ignoring his own son, she told me where to find him. She was hoping public shame might wake him up. After Jessica left, I sat alone in my office for a long time, thinking about the parallel lives we'd been living. Both single mothers, both betrayed by the same man in different ways, both trying to protect our children from that pain. The next day, I received a text from an unknown number. It's Jessica. Hope you don't mind that your studio receptionist gave me your cell. I wanted to invite you and your girls for a play date this weekend if you're interested. No pressure, just thought the kids might enjoy it. I stared at the message for a full minute before responding. We'd like that. That Saturday, we met at a local playground. The twins were instantly fascinated by baby Caleb, asking if they could help push his stroller. As we watched the children play, Jessica and I fell into surprisingly easy conversation. It's strange, she said. A month ago, you were the mysterious other woman my ex left us for. Now we're in the Martin Survivors Club. I finished and we both laughed. We swapped stories, the red flags we'd ignored, the little inconsistencies in his stories. The common threads emerged. His charm, his attentiveness, his ability to make you feel like the center of his universe until something better came along or something harder showed up. I actually feel sorry for him, Jessica admitted. He's missing out on so much with Caleb. I watched my girls taking turns gently pushing Caleb's swing, their natural kindness shining through. His loss, I said? Over the next few months, our playdates became regular. The twins adored playing big sisters to Caleb, and Jessica and I developed a friendship born from shared experience. We joked about starting a support group for Martin's exes, but truth be told, we rarely talked about him anymore. One morning, I was packing lunches for the twins when my phone rang. David's number. Rachel, he said, his voice tense. Have you seen Martin's profile on the dating app? The one he's using now? My stomach dropped. No, why would I be looking at dating apps? Jessica sent me screenshots. She's still got a fake profile to keep tabs on him. He paused. Rachel, he's using pictures of himself with our daughters, pretending they're his kids. I nearly dropped the phone. What? Photos from Emma's recital. The girls eating ice cream, him pushing them on swings. Those were private family moments. I know. Jessica recognized the twins from your playdates. That's why she called me. Anger coursed through me. Pure righteous rage. I had never denied Martin time with the twins when we were dating. I had never stopped him from caring for them, loving them. I had welcomed him into our family, and now he was using my daughters as props. The restraining order was filed that afternoon. I included the dating profile screenshots Jessica had forwarded, the threatening texts Martin had sent when I first broke things off, documentation of him showing up uninvited at my studio. As David and I left the courthouse, temporary order in hand, he touched my arm gently. You okay? I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. You know, he said carefully, I've been the bad guy in your story for 3 years and I deserved it. What I did was unforgivable, but seeing you handle this Martin situation, he trailed off. You've always been stronger than anyone gave you credit for, including me. 3 days later, Martin was served with the restraining order. The dating profile disappeared that same day. At our next playdate, Jessica brought cupcakes to celebrate. To freedom from manipulative men, she toasted, raising her coffee cup. And to the family we choose. I looked at our children playing together in the grass, my twins showing Caleb how to make dandelion chains, their laughter floating across the park. These children who deserved better than men who viewed fatherhood as optional. These children who would grow up knowing their worth wasn't determined by someone else's ability to stay. You know, Jessica said thoughtfully. I used to think being a single mom was the worst thing that could happen to me. Now I realize it just meant I had higher standards than staying with someone who couldn't step up. 6 months later, I was setting up a photo shoot when a new client walked in. Not tall, not conventionally handsome, but with kind eyes and a warm smile. James Sullivan, he said, extending his hand. School portraits for my daughter's soccer team. Rachel Chen, I replied, noticing the wedding ring line on his finger. Recently divorced then. As we discussed package options, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then answered immediately. Hey, sweetie. Everything okay? Uh-huh. Yes. The heart-shaped sandwiches are in the blue container. Love you too. He hung up slightly embarrassed. Sorry about that. My daughter Zoe calls between classes to check in. It's been just the two of us since her mom left last year. No apology needed, I said, thinking of my own daily check-in calls with the twins. Being there when your kid calls, that's the whole point, isn't it? He smiled, relieved. Exactly. After he left, I found myself smiling too. Not because I was ready to date again. I wasn't. Not because James was going to be anything more than a client. He probably wouldn't. But because for the first time in a long time, I'd met a father who answered when his child called. And that's when I realized Martin hadn't been my worst dating experience as a single parent. He'd been my most important lesson. A lesson in what to avoid, yes, but also in the strength of the community that rose up around me after he left. Jessica and her friendship, David's unexpected growth, the resilience of my daughters. Last week, the twins had their 5th birthday party. Jessica brought Caleb, now a toddler full of energy and Martin's dimples, but none of his abandonment. David came with his new girlfriend, a soft-spoken kindergarten teacher who brought handmade gifts and asked the girls thoughtful questions. As we sang Happy Birthday, I caught Jessica's eye across the table. We shared a smile, the kind that acknowledges how far we've come, from strangers connected by a man's betrayal to friends united by our determination to give our children better. Martin still tries to contact me sometimes through mutual friends, through professional networks. He's dating someone new now, I hear. Someone without children. Someone who doesn't know about Caleb, about my daughters, about the trail of abandonment he leaves behind him. But we know, and we're teaching our children that love isn't supposed to walk away when things get hard. That parenthood isn't optional. That family, real family, is who shows up day after day, even when it's messy and difficult and exhausting. That night after the party, as I tucked the twins into bed, Lily asked a question that caught me off guard. "Mommy, are you ever going to find us a new daddy?" I smoothed her hair back from her forehead, choosing my words carefully. "I don't know, sweetheart, but I do know that we have so many people who love us already. We have each other. We have Daddy, even though he lives in a different house. We have Jessica and Caleb. We have Grandma and Grandpa." I kissed her forehead. Some families have two parents in the same house. Some don't, but all families need the same thing. People who stay no matter what. Like you, Emma said sleepily from her bed. Like me, I agreed. And like you two for each other. After they fell asleep, I sat on the porch swing, scrolling through photos from the party. The twins blowing out candles. Caleb with frosting on his nose. David helping cut cake. Jessica laughing. The family we'd created from the wreckage of broken promises. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is James Sullivan from the soccer portrait booking. Hope this isn't out of line, but my daughter and I are going to the Children's Museum tomorrow at 11. She suggested asking if you and your daughters might want to join us. No pressure either way." I looked at the message for a long moment, thinking about second chances, about moving forward, about teaching my daughters that while some people leave, the right ones stay. I wrote back, "The twins love the dinosaur exhibit. We'll see you there at 11. Not a date, just two single parents and their children spending a Saturday together. Maybe nothing would come of it. Maybe everything would." For the first time in a long time, I was okay with not knowing the ending.